These three tools have been getting a lot of attention online, mainly because they promise something incredible, the ability to create complete apps using only AI prompts. But as someone who's deep into the no-code AI world, I wanted to see if they truly live up to the hype. So today, I'm putting them to the test by giving myself 60 minutes to build and launch a full web app. Let's dive in. Before starting this video, I took some time to familiarize myself with these platforms. But what exactly are we building today? I found a comment under one of my videos where someone asked if it's possible to create a complete church app with features like donations, event calendars, and more. That's what I've decided to tackle. The first tool we're going to use helps us build beautiful UI/UX designs, the front end of the application. I've mentioned this tool before on my channel. It's called VZ, created by Vercel. With just prompts, we can create the entire interface. Let's start the timer. Let's jump right in. I'm heading over to VZ, and all I need to do is type in a simple prompt. Build a church app that includes donations and events. The tool is going to automatically generate the code for all these pages, and you can actually watch it build the code in real time. It even shows a live preview as it works. On the left, you can see it starting to create the app structure, building out the different pages for the church app. All of this is happening from just one prompt, which is pretty impressive. Once it finishes, we'll have a basic functional app. For example, the donation section is already working. You can input $10 right there. It's coming together, but this is just the start. Now we're going to take things further. I start by giving the next instruction. Always be polite to your AI, by the way, and ask it to include a homepage. So now, I'm structuring the homepage and tweaking all the individual pages as well. It's created this initial version, which I'll check out. From here, I can start refining things, like adding sections for services and upcoming events that people can register for. All of this was done with just one prompt, but I want the design to look a bit sleeker. So I give it another instruction to make the design more polished. The tool is walking me through each step, like creating a full-width hero section with a background image. As it continues to make these adjustments, the design is already looking a lot better. Now I can use specific prompts, such as asking it to make the button on the hero section a little less rounded. The changes are being applied as we go, step by step. With that small change applied, I can now start refining every element as needed. Once I'm happy with the look of the first page, it's time to test things out. For instance, the Plan Your Visit button might not be what I want in that spot. I'd prefer to have the Donations button there. While the buttons are clickable, there aren't any pages behind them yet. So I give another prompt. Please create a donations page. Immediately, it starts generating this page live, complete with fields for donation amounts, full name, email, and card information. We'll connect it to a payment processor later. Everything functions as it should, and you can even select a cause, like missions, choose an amount, say 10, and then proceed with making the donation. The main goal at this stage is to create each page and map out the full navigation of the app. Once the core pages are built, we'll be ready to move on to the next tool. Now, I'll take some time to fine-tune and create all the pages just how I want them. Spoiler alert, later in this challenge, I make an incredible discovery that's really going to surprise you, so stick around for that. Now this part took about 15 minutes to complete, though honestly, I could have spent hours playing with this tool because it's so fun and exciting to experiment with. But we need to move on since there's still a lot to cover. Before I dive into the next section, I want to show you what I've created as the foundation for this project. So far, I've built three main pages: the home page, the events page, and the donations page. For now, there's a placeholder image in the background, but I'll be adding a proper image later. The home page also includes an About section with space for an image, followed by the different services, kind of like featured services. Then we have an Events section, and finally, a Support Donate section. As for the Events page, when people click on the Events tab at the top, it opens a calendar where all upcoming events are displayed. If you click on any event, more details pop up. There's also a section for featured events to highlight key happenings. There's also a bit more description on the Events page. If you click on an event, you can see all the details just like we demonstrated earlier. Lastly, we have the church donation page, which is super simple and designed to encourage donations. Users can either contribute to a general fund or pick a specific one. For example, if someone wants to donate $100, they'd enter their name, let's say Joe, and their card number. Once they hit donate, I've added a little extra touch with an animation. Check this out. Confetti bursts on the screen. It's a fun little addition that makes the experience more engaging. You could easily spend hours or even days planning and tweaking this project, but the next step is where things really get exciting. Now that we have the designs and the code ready, it's time to move on to the next tool, which is going to be crucial in bringing this project fully to life. Let me explain. When this tool first launched, it caused quite a stir, kind of like the chaos you see at Walmart on Black Friday, minus the fistfights over TVs. The tool's name is... Now let's talk about Cursor, which is a code editor that integrates AI to help you manipulate code effortlessly. One of the standout features is something called Composer. With Composer, you can type in any command or request, and it will generate the code for you. So what I'm going to do next is feed the designs we've created into Cursor, and we'll continue working the magic. But before we dive in, I need to set it up, and hopefully, it won't be too complicated. Let's get started. First, I head over to Cursor's website, where I download the tool for free. Once installed, it looks something like this. The next step is to open a folder. Let's create a new one and call it Test Church App. After opening that folder, you'll see it appear on the left-hand side of the screen, though for now, it's completely empty. At the top of the interface, there are two key options. One allows you to chat with the AI, and the other. One of the options at the top is your terminal, and the other is where you interact with the AI. If you press Command+I or highlight any code, you can send it directly to Composer. Composer is a really handy tool because it allows you to make adjustments with AI guidance. It's super useful for adapting your code. Next, I'll go into the project I previously worked on in VZ. I'll copy the relevant code and then integrate it into Cursor by clicking Add to Codebase. This is where things might get a little tricky. I'll be running this setup inside Cursor, and it could be a bit challenging, so just a heads up. Once it's set up, you can paste the code into the terminal and run the command, which will pull everything into your app. The first thing it will ask is if you want to create a new Next.js project. You simply say yes, and then it prompts you to name your app. Let's call it Excellent. It starts creating the Next.js project, which might take a few minutes. Sometimes things go wrong during setup, but that's part of the process. The cool part is, after this setup, you can continue building and adding features with ease. When I tried running the code in Composer, I immediately ran into some issues. Thankfully, the tool provides instructions to help troubleshoot. So, I started following the steps it suggested to solve the problem. Honestly, I'm glad I encountered these problems because you'll likely face similar ones, and now we can figure them out together. After following the instructions, my app has started to load, and it looks like it's importing properly. I ran the necessary commands in the terminal, and now the app is beginning to show up, which is a great sign. However, I'm still running into more issues than I initially expected. It seems the system can't find certain packages. No worries. I'll keep asking the AI for help to resolve this. It took much longer than I thought, and I ended up wasting about half an hour just trying to get everything set up correctly. But after some back and forth with the AI, I finally managed to figure it out, and now we can move forward. Now that everything is set up and running, I can jump back into the editor and continue building. Since I don't want to lose momentum, I'm resetting the timer to keep us on track. So we can go back, copy, and paste the remaining pages into our project. Once that's done, we'll move on to how we can deploy the app. Back to business. The issue earlier was that I had an extra JSON package, which caused a conflict with the other one. After fixing it and restarting, everything works smoothly now, and I've pushed the project to the development server. We can see the app live at this point. Let's say I want to replace an image. I'll find an image I like on Unsplash, then go to the home page, locate the current image in the code, and paste the new one. Now we've got a beautiful image of a church in place. Next up, we need to add the additional pages. To do that, I'll head back into Cursor, click on App, and create the necessary pages. Let's keep building. Now I'll create a new folder for the Events page. I'll call the folder Events, and inside that folder I'll create a new file named page.tsx. This is where I'll add the Events page content. Next, I'll jump back into VZ, go to the Events page, and copy everything from there. Then, I'll paste it into this new file in Cursor and hope it works smoothly. It's normal to see some errors, like a bunch of red lines, at first because there are missing dependencies. To fix this, I'll go back, find the required packages, and copy them over. After that, I'll open a new terminal, run the necessary commands, and hopefully, that will install everything we need, making those errors disappear. If something doesn't seem right, I'll delete whatever's causing issues and start a fresh terminal to run the commands again. The key point here is that you're going to encounter problems along the way, but that's part of the process. Keep troubleshooting until it works. You're bound to face some issues and errors will pop up. The good thing is, you can ask Composer to fix some of these problems. Sometimes it works, and other times you'll need to figure things out manually. Next, I'll create another page, this time for donations. I'll go into the App section again, create a new folder named Donations, and repeat the same process I used earlier for the Events page. I'll copy the content from VZ and paste it into the new Donations page. Of course, the same issue might arise again due to missing dependencies. So I'll go back to add the required dependencies. To do that, I'll run the necessary commands in the terminal and it should prompt me to overwrite some files. Once I confirm, boom, it works. Now we've got options for one-time gifts, recurring donations, and non-monetary gifts. We also need to set up the About section, which we haven't fully created yet, but that will be the next step. We're making great progress. Now that I've scrolled down to the About Us section, I'm going to add a nice community image. I'll head back to Unsplash, grab an image, and simply ask the AI to add it to the About Us section by pasting the image link. Composer, acting as your AI assistant, helps with these kinds of tasks, and you can either accept or reject the changes it makes. In this case, I trust it to handle a simple task like adding an image. Just like that, boom, the image is added. This is how the process works as you continue building your app. Although this project took a bit longer than 60 minutes, it demonstrates that it's absolutely possible to build an entire app using these tools. With this editor, you can create the entire app. After implementing the designs, you'll add the functionalities behind each element. From there, you can continue refining, connecting features, and making everything work smoothly. To finalize everything, we'll need to connect the app to a payment processor. This will require downloading several additional packages, depending on the payment gateway we choose. Once that's set up, we can move on to the actual deployment. The third tool we'll use is called Replit, which allows you to deploy the application to the web. However, while preparing to deploy, I discovered something fascinating. Replit has a new feature called Replit Agents. Normally, Replit is just a deployment platform, but with Replit Agents, you can now actually build and enhance your software directly within it. To deploy my project, I would sync everything between the app and Replit, handle authentication, and then push it live. Now, let me show you how Replit works. Once you log in, you'll see Replit Agents featured on the homepage. Typically, it's used just for deployment, but now you can input prompts and create software in Replit as well. For example, if I add the same animation prompt, Replit helps refine it even further, making everything run smoothly and look polished. Pretty cool, right? This new functionality adds a whole new layer to the deployment process. What we're seeing here is that, because Replit serves as a deployment platform, we can easily take a fully built app like this and deploy it with just a few simple steps. After setting up your deployment, you'll need to add your keys. These are the secrets that connect your app to its database. Once everything is in place, you can deploy. At this stage, Replit handles the back-end complexities, which is often the most tedious and intimidating part of building an app. It takes care of all the tricky aspects of pushing the app live. And just like that, it's deployed. You can now visit the app's domain, connect it to your custom domain, and access your live app. Though there's not much content at the moment, this demo shows how I built and deployed an app in just about 10 minutes, right before your eyes. Now that we've created and published the first version of the app, the real question is, do these tools live up to the hype? Let's dive into that. Here are some of my thoughts. First, tools like VZ and Cursor. Using tools like VZ, Cursor, and Replit together can enable you to build incredibly powerful projects with the help of AI. However, setting them up can be quite complicated, and there are several technical concepts that you need to grasp. Without a solid understanding of these concepts, you could run into roadblocks that might slow you down or even stop your progress. So, while the potential is there, there's still a learning curve involved. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'll be diving deeper into these tools and showing you how to simplify the process, especially for those who aren't super tech savvy. My second thought is that while platforms like Replit Agents are promising, they're still relatively simple in terms of what you can build at this stage. However, I'm confident that they'll continue to evolve, and eventually, you'll be able to build, launch, and deploy everything with just one tool. That's an exciting development to keep an eye on. Another key takeaway is that even for someone like me, with a lot of experience using no-code tools, there's always something new to learn and adapt to when trying out these cutting-edge platforms. When trying something new, you need to be incredibly patient with yourself. Your progress and belief in your ability to learn and grow will directly reflect in the outcome. So, give yourself time, be open to learning new things, and don't be afraid to start as a beginner. I've helped people with zero experience build beautiful web apps, so it's all about adopting that beginner's mindset and measuring progress at your own pace. I have to say, I'm really impressed with the speed at which these tools have developed. Combining no-code platforms and AI tools is incredibly powerful right now, And one thing's for sure, I'll keep discovering the best no-code tools and continue helping non-technical people create amazing things. Building with AI is truly awesome, and I can't wait to see what the next iterations of these tools bring. If you found this a bit overwhelming and want to start with something simpler, check out this video, where I show you the easiest way to build an app using no-code tools. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and let's keep building. Let's go.